Good day, friends and children. Let us learn English. This is Green Park Arthur. Welcome to Professor Dera's English. Professor M. Desangarajan presents you podcast number 13. It's so good to learn English, children. You're welcome. Part 1. Conversation. Hi Arun, what are you doing? Is it a book that you are reading? Yes, Rahul, I like reading during weekends. Don't you watch TV or go for outing? Television? No, not at all. In fact, I don't have a television in my room. That's weird. We people are addicted to television. How do you live on earth without watching television? Oh, Rahul, TV is not everything in life. Reading books gives you knowledge and wings to fly. TV is all visual nonsense. Okay, stop lecturing. What kind of books do you read, man? Mostly fiction, like Thomas Hardy, Charles Dickens, and Agatha Christie. I do read books on psychology and leadership development. They are a treasure of joy and adventure. I envy you, man. Can you suggest some simple books for me to begin with? Yeah, dear. You can begin with mystery novels of Agatha Christie. Take this one for your first reading. It's O. Henry's collection of short stories. That's cool. Thank you. I'll meet you in 2 days for the next book. Bye. Bye, dear. Wish you good time with your new hobby. Part 2. Words to learn. Pronunciation, meaning and usage. 1. Omega. The end, the last letter of Greek alphabet. Dear friend, if you are an alpha at work, I am your omega. What you begin, I complete. 2. Oven. An enclosed cooking burner. My mom has bought an electronic oven. 3. Oeuvre. Complete works of a composer or author. We have been collecting an oeuvre of Mozart. 4. Odor. An unpleasant smell. Sulfur dioxide gives out the odor of rotten eggs. 5. Critique. A thorough analysis of a theory. Nobody has written a complete critique on Shakespeare. 6. Cruise. Sailing or driving at a steady speed. I would like to sail in a cruise ship to the Bahamas. 7. Debacle. A sudden humiliating failure. It was the worst debacle in all elections for the ruling party. Part 3. Story time. Today's story is The Enchanted Violin. It's a folk tale. Once upon a time, there lived a rich man in a French village who had 3 sons. When they grew up, he sent the eldest son to travel and experience the world. 3 years later, the first son returned, well dressed with the worldly experience. His father was delighted with his behavior, so he gave a great feast in his honor, and all their relations and friends were invited. Next, he sent his second son out into the world with some money. He too returned in 2 years as a learned gentleman. Delighted, the father honored him with a grand feast. His third son was Jenik, whom they considered very foolish. He used to spend his time mostly in the kitchen, cooking and baking. Now Jenik asked his father to let him go out into the world with some money for life experiences. They all laughed at him. Even the father thought it was a good chance to get rid of him. So he gave him some money and let him go. On the 3rd day of his journey, Jenny came to a farmhouse. The farmer and his wife were going to kill a dog with an axe. Janik stopped them from killing the dog. He asked them to give the dog to him. They gladly gave the dog. Janik fed and patted it. The dog became his loyal friend and followed him. At another village, he saw an abandoned cat starving to death. He gave some food and took the cat with him. The cat was grateful and followed him with the dog. They came to a meadow. Here, Janik found a few shepherds trying to grill a mongoose in fire. The mongoose was still alive. Janik paid them some money and bought the mongoose. The mongoose was very happy to be saved. It followed him loyally. The mongoose told Janik about a magic tree in the forest on which was a wooden box with a magic violin. The magic violin would give whatever you wished if you rubbed it thrice on its strings. Then the party of the four, Janik, the dog, the cat, and the mongoose, went into the forest in search of the magic violin. After many days of search, they found the magic tree. The cat and the mongoose climbed on the tree and pushed down the box, which was on the highest branch. Janik opened the box and found the magic violin. Now it was late in the evening. Janik rubbed the violin on its strings and asked for a comfortable house in the middle of the forest with furniture and food. A beautiful house with all furniture and food appeared. The four friends ate good food and slept on cozy and comfortable beds. They spent 3 months happily in that house. They walked around the forest, bathed in the streams, and played on the meadows and trees. At the end of the 3rd month, Janik planned to go home. They left the house for the birds and animals in the forest. Janik wished for a 4-horse carriage and traveled to his village. When Janik returned home within 3 months, in a beautiful carriage with 4 muscular horses and 3 animal friends, his father was surprised. His father, brothers, and servants couldn't believe their own eyes. Now the father realized that of all his sons, Janik was the smartest. Now Janik rubbed the violin and asked for a 3-storied house for all his family. A beautiful castle of 3 floors appeared, and it was fully furnished. Janik and his parents lived in the ground floor with Janik's friends, the dog, the cat, and the mongoose. His 2 brothers, now married, lived with their families in each of the floors. 1 year of happy life went by. One day, the French king's ancestral crown was stolen. The thief was a witch who took the crown to an island and locked it in a magic castle. The castle was surrounded by a spell of magic that no man can ever break into. Janik heard the news and wanted to help the king. Janik consulted with his friends, the dog, the cat, and the mongoose. The mongoose spoke, "Master Janik, that witch's castle is surrounded by a magic spell that no man can break. But I think we animals can break it. If you guide us, we can reach the island and bring the king's crown." The idea sounded good to Janik. Now he devised a plan to send his 3 animal friends to the island. He rubbed the violin strings and asked for a strong boat with 4 strong boatmen. He told the 3 friends what to do on reaching the island and ordered the boatmen to take the 3 friends across the sea. The 4 rowers worked hard on the boat. After hours of rough sea sailing, they reached the shore of the magic island. The dog, the cat, and the mongoose advised the boatmen to wait for their return in 2 hours and set on a 2-mile run to the witch's castle. On reaching the compound wall of the castle, the 3 friends rested a while and rehearsed their plan. The dog moved to the main gate on the east. The cat moved to the back gate on the west. The mongoose moved to the south side and found a rat hole under the compound wall. The mongoose ran through the rat tunnel and emerged in the rose garden of the castle. Then it moved cautiously around the castle. It was guarded by many soldiers. The witch had gone out on a deer hunt in the forest on a magic horse. The mongoose ran into the castle through an open French window. The aromatic smell of good food on the dining table tempted the mongoose, but the mongoose said to himself, "Come on, dear, you are on a great mission. Don't be tempted by your silly taste buds." It ran on the staircase and reached the first floor. After half an hour sniffing and scratching, the mongoose found the strong wooden box in which the crown was locked. Meanwhile, the dog and the cat in the east and west gates were barking and meowing in such high pitch that the soldiers were distracted. They ran around to chase them. In such a melee, nobody noticed the grinding noise of the mongoose breaking through the wooden box with its strong teeth. It made a large hole in the box and retrieved the crown. As soon as it got the crown, the mongoose ran with it downstairs and through the window to the garden. Now that it could not take the crown through the rat hole, it ran for the eastern gate. The mongoose dodged the soldiers and ran and joined the dog. They both raced for the boat. Soon the cat ran away from the back gate and joined the dog and the mongoose. The boatmen were waiting to row the boat. The three friends, the dog, the cat, and the mongoose, jumped onto the boat with the crown safe in their custody. The boat began to move fast on the sea. The witch's soldiers chased them to the shore, but the boat was gone. They could only throw their arrows into the sea, which never reached the speeding boat. Jenik was waiting on the shore. As soon as the boat reached the shore, he told the soldiers to accompany them on the waiting horse, and they raced to the king's palace. Jenik with the soldiers and three friends reached the palace by the evening. The king was surprised and very happy to receive his ancestral crown, which he thought was lost forever. The king, the ministers, and the people applauded Jenik and his three friends for their brave adventure. The king appointed Jenik as his chief advisor. Jenik lived happily in a huge castle near the palace with his three friends, parents, and brothers happily ever after. Friends and children, that's the end of the podcast today. This is Professor M. Desingarajan signing off. Thank you.